I'm still
Hello,
here.
and we are back, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Hi.
children of all ages. Yes, I thought I'd just have Eric caught unaware while he's sipping his coffee. Actually, the only reason is so that you have a familiar face, because you're probably thinking, what's different here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
fully
Thanks for
understand.
doing that, by the way. But I am having coffee. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers to you too.
Welcome to The Erich Show, featuring your hosts, Javvad Malik and Eric Krohn. Timely topics, poorly presented.
You know, I was just looking at the pictures of us two on the couches, and we look so young then. We look
I know.
such a lifetime ago.
That was from back about the time you came to work for us at KnowBe4, right? Yeah.
That's right. About 6 years ago. Because I think Amanda, she asked, like, do you have any headshots that we could then use for promo? And as a joke, I sent that picture as one of the options.
And then I recreated it on a couch there that we happen to have. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. Believe it or not, folks, that was not AI. I know. As shocking as it may seem, that was not an AI generated picture, as realistic as it looks.
I know. Actually, you speak about AI. I was reading something that was written like 5-6 years ago. And one of my thoughts came when I got to a paragraph, was like, that sounds AI generated. And then like, no, AI wasn't around when this, or like, ChatGPT wasn't around when this was written. So clearly it's not. But I think it's just that seed of doubt that makes you question everything. Is it real or is it Memorex? It's a bit like that.
Yeah, for the old folks that remember that reference.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. If anyone who is under the age of 42, you have got no idea what we just said.
Yeah. No, you know what? It's funny because like on social media too, man, like every time I turn around, you're starting to see these things that, oh, that's clearly AI. That's clearly AI. That was made by AI. And it's just kind of like, man, and there so many of these are just being done to get engagements.
Yeah.
Like, I saw one the other day. It was like how to drywall your house. And, it was like a video thing that was a post. But when you look at it, like the drill was strangely shaped and like all this stuff was kind of weird. And someone made the comment, they're like, here is another one of those things that a 20-year-old that has never drywalled a house is now going to teach you how to drywall a house. And they're getting away with it because the AI makes it drag your attention in, and it's a true point, right?
Yeah.
Good thing they don't use that for misinformation or disinformation for political reasons, right?
I don't think they even need to try. I think it just does a good enough job on its own just to confuse people. I saw this post today, and there was like a medical journal, and you know how they write in columns? There's like 2 or 3 or 4 columns of text.
Right.
And they'd taken one word from one column and added it to another word from another column. And I can't remember. It was sort of something like electronic, microcells or something like that. I don't know. It was a word that has no place in medicine. It's a made-up phrase altogether. But because AI had read it as one word or one phrase, it started appearing in lots of students and lots of people's writings and what have you. So I thought that was
that's awesome. We are in an interesting world of AI, man. And, LLMs are everything. Rumor on the street is we may have a ChatGPT 4.5 by the end of the month, and shortly after being 5. So we're moving up. I keep hearing Claude 4 is going to be out soon. Like there's all this, it's moving very, 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 very rapidly still. But what I think is cool is, so much of the pressure or the view is on LLMs that there's actually a lot of very interesting stuff going on right now in the agentic AI side of things. So building things that are largely unsupervised and do more than just ask it a question. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how that holds out. I think the
Yeah.
venture capital money right now is still heavy in the LLM space.
Yeah. The agentic AI, I think, is going to be a bit like the Gen X of the AI world, largely unsupervised, just making it up as they go along, and you survive. You'll be surprised how they survived at the end of it all.
They're drinking hose water and
Yeah, snagging themselves in rusty nails.
oh, the good old days. Let me tell you, Sonny. Let me tell you.
So, an
Oh,
interesting fact about Perry Carpenter, our colleague,
yeah.
he can't wear a normal wristwatch. Author of Fake, great colleague. He can't wear a normal wristwatch because after a few days, it starts going backwards or it loses time. It slows down, and regardless of the brand or what have you and whatever. And I said, how did this come to be? And apparently where he grew up, there was an old nuclear, I'd say, disposal site or something. And as kids, him and the local kids would climb around there and play there, basically. And he goes, for a long time, the US government kept tabs on the kids. They would call them up like once a year and say, has your head...
Any new arms, any string?
Yeah. New appendages grown out, you like... And I said, that is the classic, like, Gen X way of growing up. Just climb around nuclear waste and what have you. It'll be fine.
But it's cool because we can stay out later because it gives off its own light.
Yes, it does. It glows in the dark.
Oh man, that's crazy. That is crazy indeed. Okay, anyways, don't we have a show to do?
Yes, we have a show to do. Palo Alto Networks warns of active, I say. That's the key word here, There's stuff that people come up in theory or in labs and they say, hey, there's a vulnerability. But when a vendor comes out and say there's an active exploitation of PanOS, then you better patch real quick.
Yeah, the thing about this story that's always scary in these types these are your internet connected devices. These are the things keeping you safe. And it's not like, when you have a vulnerability in something that's on an internal network, it's bad enough. Don't get me wrong. But when it's your thing that's forward facing, it's definitely something to be concerned about. And I don't know, man, do people use this Palo Alto stuff anywhere? I mean, right. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is a lot of the big boys here playing in the Palo Alto side of things. More so than just, your typical, what is it? TP link router or something like that. Right. Yeah. So this is just one I wanted to point out. If you are using a router that is vulnerable to this exploit or these exploits, a couple of them putting together, fix it now. And remember to have a plan in place for next time.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Okay, this side of the pond, a UK healthcare giant HCRG confirms hack after ransomware gang claims theft of sensitive data. So I personally have never heard of HCRG.
I was going to ask you about that a little bit here because I mean, pardon my American naivety or however the hell you say that word, but aren't you mostly covered by like a government healthcare, like NHS stuff? And yet
we are. So it's you get covered by the NHS, but the NHS then subcontracts or partners with a lot of other vendors to provide certain services, such as like blood test results or certain MRI scans or what have you, because they don't, they're stretched thin or they don't have the facilities and what have you. So it's kind of like third parties do a lot. There was another one of these blood test ones that was breached a few months ago. We talked about that as well. And people's blood test results were being delayed or lost or what have you. And, it was like really bad.
It's better than being mixed up.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this story, and it's very immature of me, but I'm reading the part where it says the organization previously known as Virgin Care. Like, wouldn't that limit your clientele? I can see why they've renamed. Okay, in all fairness, who picked that name?
I think that was part of the Virgin network of empire, like Virgin Air, Virgin Atlantic,
You
Virgin
really think so?
Records. Yeah, I think it was like
but-
Richard Branson. He went into like the whole healthcare space, and there was a big whole thing about him trying to privatize the NHS, and there was one of the biggest mistakes, like public PR disasters for him. But that was quite a while back. So I think it's one of those that. But yeah, okay.
So it's a $2 million ransom demand, just so you know.
Yeah.
2 million ransom demand.
Yeah.
If you're a customer patient, odds are your info's out there. So be careful.
Yeah. It has more than 5,000 employees, so they decline to say how many individuals are affected. And our team has not observed any suspicious activity since the implementation of immediate containment measures. And we're working with external forensic specialists to investigate the incident, the spokesman said. This is such a PR sanitized statement that doesn't really say anything. It's just like, we haven't
you flip
observed
you flip open the book of legal and HR crap to say, and that's like one of your choices in the paragraphs there. That always kills me, man. We have not observed anything happening with this data yet, and it's been 7 days or something. Like, you're like, come on, man, you are not going to go observe this happening, especially if you're walking around like this. I don't see a damn thing going on wrong. Seriously, folks, do better when it comes to putting out these sorts of things. I mean, this is people's information and data. It's important to them that they know what's happened to it, really.
Yeah. And it's it's a moral, I think, obligation to be as transparent and clear as possible. Even if people don't care as much as they should, you still should have an obligation to provide that information.
Yeah, absolutely. And we try to help people understand why they should care about information like this going missing, but we'll get there one day, my friend.
Oh no, a Steam game, PirateFi. I've never heard of that. I don't play Steam, but anyway, exposed, I say, as a dangerous info stealing malware. You play a lot of games. What's this all about?
I have no idea. But I just thought it was kind of cool that a game called Pirate was pirating stuff.
You put a story in the documents and everything just so that you could make a lame joke about it.
No. To me, what this is about really is people put a lot of trust in vendors like app stores or, in this case, Steam, to vet these things and keep them safe. And we've got to understand that that's not always going to happen. I mean, how many times have we seen malicious types of software or apps on the app stores? It happens all the time, right? But people just think, oh, well, it's safe as long as I got it from there. No, really. The flashlight app that needs location information and all of your contacts, please think about that twice before you do something with it.
But, this is just like another thing. It's very difficult for people because like you said, it's from a trusted store. It's like on the platform that you trust. You download like hundreds of games anyway. What's another game? And then you don't know, what it's really doing. So it's a shame. But actually, I think we've seen over the last few years a number of big attacks against gaming platforms and gamers. Yeah. Because we say games and we talk about them as if they're just like Pac-Man or Space Invaders, and they're not. They are entire ecosystems within the games. There's like games which have like people spend hours and hours building up characters
and money.
There's currencies involved, or they have their own form of currency, and you buy armor, you upgrade stuff, and then when that gets stolen, I mean, there's chat interfaces in there, so people get, scammed through that. They get it's a big thing. It's a whole is a whole realm within the world that we sort of like as a non-serious gamer, I speak, that that I'm not really exposed to, but people that are in there all the time, that's their world.
Yeah. I tried Fortnite like twice, dude, just because I wanted to see what all the hype was about, right? I'm like, why is everyone so crazy about this? And what I learned is 13-year-olds are really bad at cussing. They just throw out words that they have no idea what they mean, but they think they're cool. So that still goes on. That's still happening. But even within like the short amount of time that I played, I saw a guy get scammed out of a bunch of stuff like guns and whatever. He was like, oh, send him over here and then I'll trade you with this. And the dude grabs him and takes off. I was like, oh, dude, that was kind of, and some kid is like, but, and I was like, dude, why do we even like even there, these little scammers and little, yeah. Anyways. And then there was a lot of non-creative cussing, calling mothers things that it was just dumb, but entertaining. It's somewhat, but yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, people put a lot of time and effort into building these characters, doing that kind of stuff. And then the scamming is just over the top, man. That's why I stick with Minecraft.
Oh,
I'm going to dig a hole now.
What's that? There's a Minecraft movie coming out.
Yeah, isn't Jack Black or something in that?
Yeah,
I think Jack Black is Steve. Yeah,
and Jason Momoa's in it as well.
Is he really?
I think so.
Oh my gosh,
it looked like him.
Okay, that dude's popping up like he's popping up in everything. A lot of times it's little like encores. Like what was it? Fall Guy the movie shows up in the end of that, right? And when I was on a cruise on the ship, I flipped through and what the hell was it? Oh yeah, that's right. He was in Fast and Furious 2300 or whatever the hell number they're up to now, right? It was like all these people. I was like, I didn't even know he was in that movie, but he's like popping up all over the place, man. He just won't go away.
He's a great so you're probably not into hip hop much, but there's a rapper who's passed away called Nate Dogg, and he was great he was a great rapper when he was on a supporting track for someone else. So he was like when he was collaborating with someone else, he would bring it in, and he was fire. He was like all on it all the time, whether it be with like Eminem or Dr. Dre or whoever. And his solo songs, I just didn't quite like as much. I mean, they were good, but they just lacked that little pizzazz. Yeah. And that's how I feel about Jason Momoa. He's like really good as a cameo character who pops up every now and then. But as a main lead, I just don't.
That's how I feel about you.
Okay, so speaking of main characters, we actually have another story or two to do. Let's see. Infostealer malware detected within the U.S. military and defense. Come back.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. Army and Navy major defense contractors, including Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Honeywell, have hundreds of computers with active infostealer infections. The Israeli cybersecurity firm Hudson Rock has claimed. Do you think this is true?
I'm not doubting it. It's curious how the information got out, but it's scary. Now they're talking about not a ton of people. Okay, so one of the lines: 71 infected employees were detected at the U.S. military, 30 at the Navy, 24 at the FBI. We're not talking about large scale here, regardless of kind of what it says, or kind of implies here. We're not talking about the whole military. And frankly, there's always computer network defense stuff going on. But it looks like this has made a little bit of a foothold in things, being in several different ones.
Yeah.
Across different branches at this point. As you love it when I talk about this.
Yes.
But I used to work for the Army, and I was a security manager at the organization that handled the network infrastructure and Active Directory across North America. And saw some pretty interesting things out here. But the info stealers kind of makes you wonder, gosh, who's behind that? What actors are big on stealing information and perhaps creating their own jets that look remarkably like ours? And
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's them, but it's just my thoughts. Well, anyway.
Yeah. I thought what was interesting here is like they're talking about how they wait for users to slip up and download malicious code in the form of pirated software, infected PDFs, a game, maybe PirateFi.
Right. I know. I was thinking maybe they got Steam on there, but
yeah. But I would have thought, maybe I'm a bit naive, but I would have thought there's some form of EDR or some network detection that would
yes, indeed. I think that's, it's an interesting point too. And like with the classified networks typically are air gapped. And I mean, they are talking about some Lockheed Martin and some things like that. So they may be coming in through some of the third parties, they get something, they send a PDF that's legit, but it's been infected by whatever. That kind of stuff could possibly happen. But for the most part, I mean, we had things pretty locked down most of the time, especially on the workstation side. So I don't know, but $10 for a sensitive secret. I just got to wonder how secret the secrets really are. Right.
Exactly. So finally, a bit of a good news story. Italian police freeze cash from AI voice scam that targeted business leaders. So
this was one of those ones where they make up a voice. It goes, "I've been kidnapped. Send money." Oh my gosh. And they sent like $1 million. What is $1 million? Yeah. But that's a reasonable amount of money. Now they got it back. It was hanging out in the Netherlands. Apparently got a little, distracted by the red light district. Like, I'll just hang out here with my money. But they were able to get it back. But this is, anytime we see AI being involved in this stuff, I always think it's interesting these days because, I've been trying to talk people off the ledge a little bit about AI and the damages it can do. But honestly, most of this stuff, if you know how to spot the scam itself, it doesn't matter if it's a voice actor or AI behind it. It really doesn't. So, but we make a big deal because it's AI.
I mean, you saw a few weeks ago, there was a romance scam where some lady gave so much money to a guy who was sending pictures of Brad Pitt, basically. It was Brad Pitt in a hospital bed. And it was just like, there was no AI there. There was no fancy technology. I think maybe photoshopped something on it, on a piece of paper to say, "I love you" or something like that. But that was it. It was, so if someone wants to believe something or someone gets duped by something, the technology really doesn't matter.
Right.
People just get blinkered and they, get nervous or they get worried or greedy or whatever it might be. And
there's an interesting little side thing that happens with this that I do think is kind of funny. And that is, we've also seen it where people have claimed, "Oh, that's a deep fake of this or this happening." It turns out it's not, right? But they're like, "No, that really wasn't my kid vaping." And it was a cheerleader deal. And man, they lambasted this gal for supposedly creating a deep fake of this daughter, like this cheerleader vaping, so that her own daughter could get like team captain or something, right? Everyone went, "Oh, it's a deep fake. How horrible. This lady is terrible." And like just beat the hell out of her. And turns out, it wasn't actually a deep fake. Oopsie.
Wow.
So, after her name was smeared through the mud and the papers and wherever else online, turns out she didn't make that shit up. Pardon my French. Oops, I said it. But
dear. That's a strike. So you can't believe anything these days, can you?
No.